All right. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining today's office hours. It's July 8th. Just some Give me a second. I was trying to, the YouTube started, so I had an echo. So yeah, some quick housekeeping before we dive in. Flatcar is a CNCF incubating project, so we operate under the CNCF Code of Conduct. For anyone that is new here, these office hours are our space to talk about anything happening in and around Flatcar and give our user community a chance to chat directly with our maintainers and run through some demos and do some release planning together. So first we will kick off with a round of introductions. I will pick someone at random and you could just tell us about yourself in one or two sentences, whether how you are involved with Flatcar or what brought you here today. And then if you can choose the next person to go, that'll be great. I am Lexi and I work at Microsoft. I'm a maintainer and I focus on project growth and health. So Adrian, would you like to go next?
Sure, I'm Adrian here. I work for Cloud-Based Solutions. I'm a Flatcar maintainer, and I try to, go forward with some more exotic Flatcar things that I'll briefly talk today. Try to give you a hint. Thank you. Jan?
Thanks. Can you guys hear me? Okay. My name is Jan. I also work for Microsoft. I'm a software engineer and I'm a Flatcar maintainer. I do a lot of different things at Flatcar, ranging from CNCF graduation work all the way to like infrastructure and stuff like that. And today, I guess I'm going to be discussing some CNCF updates and also our documentation update and the steering and technical committees, which are kind of major updates as well. Okay, so maybe Anant, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'm Anand, and I just use Flatcar primarily at home, but maybe for work. This was just a coincidence, but I work at this place called Triton, and I'm just wearing their shirt. Uh, and we're looking at Flatcar for some of the work that we do. We're an infrastructure company, startup. Yeah, I've been using this for a bit on and off personally, and I'm here to talk about a few SysX and a few changes that I have a few PRs up to see if you guys would be interested in it. I have to pick someone else. Sorry, Logan, do you want to go?
Hi, Logan Blythe. I work for a company called Hedgehog. We use Flatcar in our product. I also use it in my home lab. I guess I've had some PRs that have been accepted, which have been great. And I'm trying to stick with the team since we use it for our product, and I want to make sure that we kind of give back as well. I would have to say the next thing I'm kind of hoping to do is work on a UEFI compatible ISO for us, I guess but Flatcar. So I have that working for my own company's build system and purposes, but I've kind of been staring at the scripts repo, trying to find the right place to put it in. I do know that would also probably interact with secure boot. So potentially, I know we have it running non-secure boot, but yeah. So that's me. Robin?
Hey, my name is Robin. I work for Stackit, a German cloud provider, and we are a heavy Flatcar user. I'm also a maintainer. And in the past week, I worked on the GPU driver for NVIDIA. Next, Cyan.
Hello, I'm Cyan. I am also a Flatcar maintainer. I primarily look into the releases and joining in from India. And yeah, that's mostly from my end. Chewy?
Yep, I'm James, or Chewy. I'm a Flatcar maintainer and a Gentoo maintainer working at Microsoft in Edinburgh. Irvin.
Hi everyone, my name is Erwin. I'm an application developer mainly, but used to do other things as well. I just came back from paternity leave and will jump back, or I already jumped back working on Nebraska, and looking forward to also contribute to some infrastructure work the next weeks. Adrian, how about you?
Hello. I already introduced myself, I think. I can do it again. Hello.
Yeah, I think it was Tilo now.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'm Tilo. I manage a team at Microsoft that sponsors Flatcar maintainers, and I'm a Flatcar maintainer myself, long-time maintainer, and I sometimes get my hands dirty as well. I'm gonna give a small demo on the SysX bakery later, and I've been reviewing Anand's amazing SysX PRs. So yeah, did we miss anyone? Anyone didn't go yet?
We did it all. So thank you, everybody, and welcome. Let me just share the screen with the agenda. Oh, hopefully it's gonna. Just give me 1 second. Yes, okay, there we go. Sorry. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, I'll just kind of run through the agenda real quick, and then I think I'm going to punt it to Tilo, right? So we have, the SysX bakery, and then we'll be talking about we won't do the Proxmox status since Matthew's not here. The one other thing that's not on here is Cyan's release update, and then Jan and I will be doing the graduation update, the tech docs presentation, and then talking about the steering and technical committees. Tilo, so you're going to be doing the demo, right?
Yeah, give me 1 second to set myself up. I'll be...
Yeah, every time I see Jan's handle, I always say John by accident. I don't know if anybody else has that. I feel like that's happened a few times.
Oh,
sorry. I know your name.
All right. Let me share my browser window first, because that's what you're going to need to take a look at, and then we'll look at a console. All right. Window. Boop, boop, boop. I think this is the right one.
That is weird, Chewy, by the way.
Share. Okay.
All right, I'll take it on mute.
Do you need to allow sharing for me, because it's kind of stuck in the sharing screen?
Let me. I unshared my screen, so hopefully.
I will try again.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yay! Here we go. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So this is the SysX bakery. There's a user-facing part of the SysX bakery, which is basically extensions Flatcar org, or if you can memorize it, the Flatcar GitHub IO, GitHub pages. That's generated from the docs repository. More on that a little later. That's not what we're talking about. So on the user-facing side, you'll find information on what SysX are available, how to install a SysX, how to use it, and these kind of things. Today, we'll be rotating around creating SysX. All right, so this is the repo that you need, and then you need a purpose, like what do you want to ship with your SysX? We assume that you already know what a system extension is, that it's a file system image that just merges into your regular file system. It's immutable, which is amazing for an immutable operating system. And if you add it to the bakery, it will be automatically built and updated, and updates will be published at the bakery repository as well. All right, so we need to want to ship something that is not included in Flatcar. I took like a 5-minute Google search and I found a Go implementation of HTOP. I love HTOP. I don't know this guy. And usually when you file a system SysX Bakery PR, you will kind of scrutinize the sources that you're ingesting your binaries from. But today, for the purpose of this demo, I'll just trust this guy. He has one release out, and we just use the HTOP implementation that they're shipping here. So this is hosted on GitHub, and it's written in Go, and the releases are static. So when you download those files, then you'll see there's static binaries, and that's very important for system extensions that we publish in the bakery, because we don't want any system dependencies in here, except maybe for the Linux kernel. That is fine, but don't depend on glibc. So stuff shipped here is either statically compiled, or we just download the static binaries, which is the case for most of the SysX. Okay, so let's go and see what we need to do to ship HTOP Go. Share screen. And here's the bakery demo. Is the text size okay? Cool. All right. That's an empty directory. And I just want to start fully from scratch with you folks, right? Just show you how easy it actually is. So first, we want to clone the bakery repository. So we have it all here. And the first step that we're going to do, it's also included in the README. It has detailed instructions on how to create your own SysX. There's a skeleton directory, which basically gives us the steps that we need to implement to build our own SysX. So we're going to copy that. And we're going to call our SysX HTOP. Okay, so this is one screen, and I'm going to use another screen here. I have 3 screens. Why? Sorry, I only need 2. Okay, this is one screen, and in another screen, I will edit one single file, and that's called create.sh. This is from the skeleton, right? And so you have instructions in here. I basically know my way around, so I can just remove most of the comments, so it's easy to read. And the first thing that we want to do is we're going to go to the releases page of HTOP Go. I'm doing this in the other window. And we're going to check out the URL this uses to notify basically to list the releases. You see the version here, and you see the architecture encoded here, and that's basically all we need to customize. I'm gonna run wget here, and we have the file. And it seems to work, at least on my local machine. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, there's a stub here that says list available versions. And one second, I'm gonna help myself out a little here. And so this is important for a command that's called bakery list. If you run bakery list without arguments, you get all of the SysX lists, but if you provide an argument like bakery list Kubernetes, what it does is it gives you all Kubernetes versions. So this actually goes onto the Kubernetes release server and lists all the versions. Now GitHub publishes versions in a structured format and has an API that you can query. And we have a stub function available for you. So since this is hosted at GitHub, we can actually use list GitHub releases, and we need to give 2 things. The first is the GitHub org. And since this is a person doing that, Hermes, which with a lot of numbers, and then the project. No one, so no. And so now that we implemented that, we can actually list the versions. And there's only one, but I mean, it works, right? So this actually went to GitHub and it lists the versions available for that GitHub project. This will become important later. Okay, so the main function now that we need to populate, that we need to look at, is populate sysextrude. And this is called by the bakery wrapper at a point in time where it created a temporary target root file system, so you can put your binaries just in there. Again, lots of help available here. And you get 3 arguments passed to this function. The first is the pointer to the path to the sysextrude. This will be used by the wrapper later to build the sysext from, the architecture the user wants to build, and the version the user wants to build. And your job is to download the correct version, because this is a demo that shows you how to build precompiled versions, right? I'm gonna go here. I will copy the release address once again. And so here, you just pass the version. Come on. And then here, we just pass the architecture. All right, we don't even need to untar anything, you know, in case the upstream releases a tarball, you're gonna probably untar it. Instead, we just go take what we just downloaded. Actually, the thing we want to do first is we want to create use our bin in the sysextrude because we can't be sure that this exists. And then we want to copy the binary that we just downloaded. And then we probably just want to call it htop go, because why drag the arc around, right? Last thing we want to do is we want to make it executable. And then we're good. And that's all you need to do in order to create a htop go sysext. Well, not quite. There's a little nuisance, and that nuisance is if you do.
You got a typo in that.
Go ahead.
CMOS.
What? The demo thing. Thank you. Great catch. So if you do create help, then you see here that the architecture, valid architectures are x86-64 or ARM64. Now we're good with ARM64, but the upstream repository uses AMD64, not x86. So we have this little macro, which we, because this is something that a lot of sysex struggle with, right? So we have this arc transform macro. So if we get the x86 passed, then transform it into AMD 64. Otherwise, just leave it be. And we pipe it through here, and then we need to use the release architecture here and here. And then the whole thing will work. So what I can do now is I can do a list. And then I see there's one version to build. And then I can build it. And it will do the right thing. It'll download the new release, and it will create a sysext from it. Now, how can you be sure that this actually works? That is easy too, because there's a command called boot. Now, sorry, I need to specify the sysext. Okay. Now, what this does is, if you haven't got a local QEMU release of Flatcar available, it just goes and fetches it. Unfortunately, I have a pretty good uplink, so this was really fast. And then it boots, and it automatically provisions the sysext to the Flatcar VM. And then the thing I don't want to do is, this is a serial console, right? I actually want to SSH into it, and I can run it, and it's right there. So this is how I can ship a close to system tool. If I do it here, it just looks like this. It's not very good for a demo. And that's how you do a very simple and basic sysext. So there are 2 follow-up steps that you want to do after you got it working. The first is you go into docs, and you see for every sysext that we have in the bakery, you see basically in a markdown file. So what you're going to do is create a markdown file. And you could, for instance, include, what's this? You could include like config snippets and how to deploy it. You can steal from the other sysex. Like, this is pretty straightforward, right? And then after you have your documentation ready, the other thing you want to do is you want to go to index, and you want to add your sysext here. So it's listed on the start page, and this is the user-facing documentation I showed you at the beginning. So this will basically guarantee that your sysext listed there, and people can find it. But it's really straightforward. So if you check and what you need to do in order to get a sysext, oh, look, a white space problem. In order to get a sysext merged, then this is it. Like, there's literally not more that you need to do. And also, because we support, oh wait, there's actually one more thing that you need to do. There's a text file called release build versions, and the thing you want to do is you want to list your new sysext in here, and you want to put the keyword latest behind it, because every night there's a GitHub action that runs, and that GitHub action will run bakery list for all of the sysex in the bakery that are in this text file, right? And then it'll figure out the latest version. And if the latest version is not hosted on the sysex bakery GitHub releases pages, then it'll generate the sysext for you. It'll release it as a GitHub release, so you can consume it later via butane config. And this is how you generate a self-updating sysext. And I'm done. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much for that demo. Oh, we have some questions. Logan?
What if you needed to compile something? That's a little more tricky, but
yeah. So actually, we have that, and Anand, who's on the call, has actually we're iterating on one PR that needs that for HA proxy. So the recommended way to do that, and there are multiple sysex that actually do that, is you spawn a transient Alpine container. You download the sources there, and you compile it statically, right?
Okay.
I like Alpine for 2 reasons. It's very small, it's very swift, it can run in a GitHub action, and no one will complain. It can even run in software emulation, so you can build for ARM64 and test for ARM64 on an x86 machine. I do that regularly, and it's not even painful, so it's kind of fine.
They do. Yep. They use Musel though, or I guess like micro libc as opposed to like glibc. So hence your comment earlier.
And this is the other benefit, because you will immediately notice if you don't link statically, and that's very, very important, right? Because you don't want to depend on any bits on the operating system. So it'll just blow if you're doing something wrong and you're accidentally linking dynamically. And I see that as a benefit in this scenario, because we only want to ship static binaries.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good question.
Okay, cool. Logan, did you have any other questions, or was that a mistake? Okay, cool. All right. Thank you so much. I think next we will have Cyan just doing a release update. Cyan,
Yeah.
perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So right now the release is ongoing. We have been doing the releases across the different channels. Currently, there were some issues that had to be fixed in the during the build process and has been taken care of. Last I had seen, because Dongsu was looking into it, was there were some capacity issues around Stackit, which was getting tackled, and I guess Robin had talked around that. So once that is done, I'm guessing that we would have the complete release done by tomorrow. And just to mention that we are having some issues around AWS Marketplace, and we are working on that. So there might be we'll update the issues, but that is something I just wanted to update, that there might be some delay around updating the AWS Marketplace. So yeah, that's mostly from my end and with the release status.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. We can kind of move on to the graduation update. Jan, if it's okay, I'll just do kind of like a overview for the first part, and then we could get into the tech docs and that release, and then at the end we'll kind of finish off with the steering and technical committees. Is that okay? Cool. So yes, we are still aiming to submit to the TOC by the end of the month. There's still some big remaining items around documentation and governance that we need to kind of meet the graduation criteria. So this also includes like expanding the work on maintainer and contributor documentation, which there's still more work there. But then after we do the documentation work, we will have to basically finish and update the general technical review, the security self-assessment, and then do the actual application. So right now, there's just a big overhaul on governance and documentation. And so there's just a lot of things still in flux. So I think that's kind of like the overarching update. Jan, is there anything else that I missed that does not have to do with the steering committees and the tech docs?
I guess the only one is the updating of the self-security assessment. So if any one of you has anything that you think, oh, that changed since a few years ago, maybe we should mention that, like, let us know.
Yeah. So with the security self-assessment, the good thing is that we're kind of building on what was already there for the incubation. So it's just more of an update, which is quite nice. Okay, so let's get into, actually, hold on, before I say too much more, I'm gonna just open up the new pages. Let's maybe go into the, hold on, the release page. So I think the last office hours, I wasn't here, and I think Tilo already kind of went in on the new structure of the docs and where it was heading, but we finally merged a lot of this stuff. And yeah, the CNCF essentially has ran out of the hours, but we were able to really still have a lot of great contribution from them that went to what is it called? To completion. Yes. Sorry, give me a second. Let me just share.
Speaking of, Bruce just joined. Hello.
Fantastic. Hello, Bruce. We're just starting to talk about the tech docs and all the updates.
Hi. Yeah, I'm glad I saw the message in time. It's great. Actually, I am in Nate put a pause on my analysis effort, so I do have so I'm gonna work on Flatcar gratis, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm working on the quick start now. So thanks. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been really great, and yeah, there's a lot to go through here actually. So I maybe I'll punt it to Jan, since he worked really closely with you guys. Do you want to start with the new docs structure, or should we go into the new release page first?
We can start with the new docs since Bruce is here. So over the past month, I think, if not a little bit more, we have been working with Bruce and Seth from Expert Support on basically, first of all, doing analysis of our documentation and a plan when it comes to restructuring it, how to basically serve our users better, how to make it more intuitive, and just basically make that seamless, of which Bruce was a key part of. And this is basically what you can see here, especially on the left in the sidebar. We have a completely new, well, not completely, but very new reorganization of certain things on the website. You might have to get used to them. However, personally, I've found that honestly they're very intuitive, and yeah, just nice and easy to use. We also did add, for example, a new quick start guide and also some new overviews and a few minor articles. And personally, I think it's really, really great. This was a huge piece of work. We managed to merge today, actually. We already posted a blog post on the website about it, and we will be posting updates on our socials later today. So basically just everyone can actually know that it has changed and see the new documentation. Bruce, would you like to add anything?
Sure. Yeah, this is great. What an effort. I created a spreadsheet, but you all on the team, you evaluated the nodes and how they should be. There will be, I think, in terms of like what I'm thinking about in terms of the, when we look on a page, you see this, like the quick start page. Now this is, but there, maybe I'm getting into the weeds here, but in the markdown file, we have a title and we have a, the H1. Now, when we look at the top of this particular file, what you're looking at right now, it just says quick start. But in the metadata of the title, it's also a quick start. So offline, I have a email with you, John. We need to coordinate the title and the metadata to be robust, so search will pick it up. So right now, with just quick start, that won't be, if just quick start is a H1 title, and if just quick start is a metadata title, it won't be differentiated by search as the Flatcar quick start. It would just get lost in the I'm making sense here. Just like it's just a search optimization with our headings and our titles, but other than that, we're in really good shape. And so the overviews, on the top nodes, before we went merge, we try to get a good click on one of those overviews, like maybe OS configuration, see what that looks like. Click on the okay. There's what I did. Now, when I was doing this, each of these top overviews would need more meatier intro context there, but then sort of a table, going down to the sections. So they're all not like that, but I think for consistency, we should get them like maybe. So there's a lot of all in all, someone coming to this website who doesn't know the ins and outs of like what a tech writer would see, they would see, oh wow, but I think we're in good shape. I'm just starting to babble here, but those are the two things that I think will really improve is the titling, to make sure that gets search optimized, and the metadata title, and also there's in the metadata title you can have a value called the link title. And are you working with a nav, a .nav file, or an index? That could be used as the actual title in the UI. So there are 3 different ways to do a title for a markdown topic: the title and the metadata, and the H1, and the link title that's also in the metadata. So just some thoughts, but yeah, it was great. It was really fun to work on.
Cool, thank you. So the next thing we can show, I guess, is the new releases page, which was done by Uche, who is also part of the CNCF team. I think this is a huge improvement compared to what we had. You can see basically that it is allowing you to have choices that narrow down your platform compatibility. For example, when you choose a certain provider, it will either directly allow you to download the image for that provider, which I don't think you will see because you're sharing a Windows, but that's fine. Basically, just downloads a file immediately. And if you, for example, click on the small book icon in the corner, it's going to lead you to the documentation that is explaining to you how to use that platform, how to provision Flatcar on that platform. Of course, you can still browse all of the files for each release, like previously, and see all of the changelogs and updates as previously. It just says that now we have this, I think, very, very nice preamble kind of where it's just very, very easy to download. And I think it looks great.
So this is good for a quick start right away. They would download the image, right?
Yes. Although we can do it, via command line, for anyone that is new to something like Flatcar or an image-based distro. I think going to that download button, right, and just clicking on something and having a file download is the most straightforward way they're familiar with, right? And that's why it's kind of very important.
And this, when this downloads an image, it download it to the local directory they happen to be on.
It opens a file chooser, where so you can basically save it wherever you want to save it.
Great.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. And this was the main piece of part of the recent refactorings. Of course, there's gonna be some follow-ups, and especially given the scope of the restructuring, there might be some issues that are yet to be resolved, like missing links or incorrect links, or maybe a typo here and there. If you see anything like that, please let us know. Either file an issue or comment about it on our Discord channel. With that kind of a massive PR, this is normal. Okay, and I think that's it. Once again, we're very grateful, and this was like a hugely impactful piece of work that was, incredibly needed for our page, and I think it's just great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we do have just a few little things that, well, you've already mentioned giving any feedback on broken links, but we also should look through where we need documentation in some of the pages that are a little bit empty. I know that we were talking about some mentors that we might be able to bring in on this, but I think even Tilo on the last call that I watched a recording, and he was searching for which ones were kind of empty and couldn't find. So I think we do need to kind of take stock and see which ones are kind of in need and maybe make a list of them. So I was just thinking about that today. So we could get those populated. But great work. Thank you so much. All right. I think we could kind of start and on the steering and technical committees. Yeah, this needs quite a lot of discussion. I know Jan's already sent around a few messages, a few emails, not just to maintainers, but overall to all the different channels. So we are going to be proposing 2 new bodies, which is the steering committee and the technical committee. Yeah, this is ahead of graduation, especially since we're trying to meet the criteria for that in the CNCF, and that is going to get us there. So I think we can actually, before I get too into it, let me go back to the actual PR that you, or I think you got a discussion
Yeah, it's
link,
discussion
right?
post. I can share it again.
Oh no, I got it.
Okay.
I just need to share it. So. Hold on, give me a second. Share this instead. Do you see it?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, okay, great. Do you want to jump in and explain a bit?
Sure. So, like Lexi mentioned, we are going to be creating 2 new bodies for Flatcar, mainly its project management. Now, the first one is they are kind of, I would say, equivalent. However, they do different things, and they should be comprised of different people with different responsibilities. So the steering committee itself, and by the way, we based these very much on, for example, Kubernetes or Istio projects that also utilize these bodies. So, for example, steering committee, it's meant to be a governance focused, like main trajectory of the project focused, code of conduct, etc. You can think these management things of the project. This would be a body composed of people that are handling these. If there's something that needs to be escalated, this is where it would be escalated to. And most importantly, this is also a body where we could see community members being a part of. So, for example, you can imagine someone being very active in the community, being a user, also joining that and helping steer the project. In both the steering committee and the technical committee, the seats would have terms. This is also something we're figuring out. Also, the number of seats we're still figuring out. For the technical committee, it's meant mostly to safeguard the correct trajectory, or more like the wanted trajectory of the project from the technical standpoint. Now, both of these are not meant to basically micromanage things when it comes to the project. So you will not have to be, assigning these technical committee people for every PR review. These are meant to safeguard the project from the highest level and basically assure that nothing wrong happens. This post here encourages debate, and this is what it's for. Basically, as committee of Flatcar, we have, and especially maintainers, we have to answer a few questions. They range from how many people should be on each committee, whom do we want to allow to join this committee, right? What are the terms, stuff like that. And we are planning a series of discussions. One is going to be happening tomorrow. I'm not sure yet at which time. I did send doodle requests to all maintainers, so please check them out, and if you could fill them out when you're available, and basically be discussing that. That meeting is going to be public. You can join it. Same one is going to be happening on the 16th of July, and I think we'll actually, Tilo, please do not share it publicly because everyone can vote. But I think that's fine. Anyway,
Sorry.
Oh, it's Flatcar. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Tila. Yeah. For me, it's a different. Oh, because the previous message was okay. That's right away. Now, additionally to that, I think on Tuesday we'll also basically turn the CNCF sync in an additional time for discussion when it comes to these topics. If you scroll down, apart from up there being a link to the, I would say, template/draft of the proposed governance documents that define these bodies, you can see a list of questions. So these documents are drafts, and they have X's in certain places. So, for example, how many seats are there? There's an X in that. And these are the questions we're supposed to be discussing, right? Because these things are going to have long-term impact on our project. They also tell you, for example, do we want a place where a compromise can be reached by doing 50-50 in votes and this can still pass, or does a majority need to be reached? Stuff like that. This is important. And yeah, if you have anything you would like to share, experience from your own governance body or a project you worked in, this is very much, you're very much invited to share this. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. Any questions?
If not, then yeah, for those that have access to the doodle, ignore the email or the message here. I can't seem to delete it now. But yeah, the people that have it, please fill it out, because we do want to get as much participation here as possible. Because this is really big, right? This will carry into the future of the project and will have an impact. So, right. Sorry again about that. But I guess if nobody else has questions, we can. I think Ananth, you wanted to also talk about your bakery work, right?
Yeah, not specific to the bakery, but I'm interested in getting a new file system in Flatcar. I'm interested in merging Bcache FS. I did start off by thinking I could do it as a system extension, but I don't think that's going to work. I have a PR up now for the Flatcar operating system itself, and it's just modeled on the way it's loosely similar to how ZFS is done right now. I just wanted to see if there was any interest in it. I'm not an active developer on Bcache FS, but I worked with the community before and I run a couple of boxes with it. I've been doing it for a couple of years now. So it would be cool to have this support. It's just for my home lab right now, but there might be some commercial involvement as well on Bcache FS. So yeah.
That's really cool. I've seen what you submitted already. It helps that, of course, that Gentoo has it already, so we can just bring that across. You can ignore anything Copilot says about the eBuild. I trust the maintainer; he's very good. I would maybe wait because we're about to take kernel 6.18, which I think would drop it from mainline, and then you'd need the module from the eBuild. It might be simpler to just wait till we do that because we're about to anyway. But yeah, other than that, it looks good. It's a controversial one, I agree. At least it's not Riser FS, if you know the history there.
No, I mean, yeah, I agree. I'll wait. I've been doing it on testing it out on alpha a bit because you have the newer kernel there, and I do need something above 6.16 to test this out. And as far as this goes, I've largely steered entirely away from the controversy, but just as a user of Bcache FS for the last 3 years, it's been fantastic. I thought that the tagline was extremely, or a little bit like, I thought it was a bit like a tad full of itself. Like the tagline is the cow file system that won't eat your data. And I was like, okay, that's a bit egotistic, but I will humbly accept that that's been the case for the last 3 years. If you haven't tried it out, I would recommend it. Ignore the drama anywhere and try it out. It's pretty good, So I'm largely not interested in that, but I think it has some value as a CFS alternative. BTFS does not have everything that I want from it. Like I've been waiting for it for a long while to get like good at like RAID 5 and 6, and it just never got there. So yeah, it would be cool to have it in Flatcar. Yeah.
So this I think one additional thing, if you're gonna take it into the basically the I don't know, first party fully upstream supported scripts repo, you already covered kind of the build issues. So the other thing that I think would be great to have is we maintain our own test suite, and it's called Coda. I put a link in the chat. And for these system-dependent SysEx that people can install by just writing a line to etc Flatcar extensions conf, I think it's healthy to have at least a smoke test to see not just that the SysEx merges, but the file system's actually there. So there's a ZFS test that we already shipped. So this already kind of handles SysEx. I understand that these tests are slightly challenging in that the test environment needs to get the SysEx served. I don't know how that is solved in the ZFS test. But at the end of the day, I think this is where we need to get to include bcachefs. And other than that, no restrictions from my end. I mean, given the current drama, it might very well be that eventually we need to stop supporting it because it's not supported upstream anymore. But that is a discussion that we will have, should that ever happen. And it's a risk that we need to take when we use bcachefs anyways. So, Flatcar doesn't change that.
Yep, absolutely. I did go DKMS initially for it, but I think they're dropping DKMS because it's hard to build Rust stuff with it. I'll take a look at the test suite. That does sound good because it would be good to actually validate that it works.
Okay. If that is all from everybody, but actually I didn't really open up the floor, so if anybody has anything else to add, now's the time. Yeah, Adrian?
Yes, I'd like to get some feedback on something I was thinking of, and recently I actually started a little bit of a POC. So in the light of the recent events with the kernel CVs and so on, mostly I think we'll see more and more of them. AI gets better and better, and also people are getting better and better at using AI. So I was thinking something in the basically live kernel patching. in a very short sentence.
Yeah.
I know it can be controversial, more controversial than bcachefs or anything, but I would like to make it work as a POC. I would like to have it somehow. I was thinking that Nebraska fits 100% perfectly in how I envision how to manage those, because you still also need a management layer outside the Flatcar, right? A server where to get those, where to build those things, where to get those things, right? And see how that goes. And currently, in the, let's say, building slum, because it needs to, the kernel needs to be some config options, a lot of stuff. The nice part is why I bring this idea is that finally in, I think, kernel 6.18 or mostly basically on the 7th kernel, the live patching support is finally, and all of the bits are in the main tree finally, right? So we can actually do something that is supported. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think someone brought it up before. I can't remember who it was. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm not against it either. I think it would be worth having. It maybe kind of goes against Flatcar's methodology that it should be easy to reboot, but this stuff exists for a reason. So yeah, I think some people just need this kind of uptime.
Yeah, so I was thinking as a POC, see what are the hurdles, see what can be done, what can be feasible, what is not feasible, and then just leave people with the opportunity to actually use it if they need it, right? No, I'm not thinking as a addition to Flatcar currently, but I am thinking of an option, a possible option. Yeah.
I think this sounds great. particularly as you're kind of positioning it as something exploratory, and I think that's really, really worth it. I actually trust kernel live patching quite a bit. I do not trust kexec to update kernels, but I do trust live patching. I'm allowed to talk about it because my former boss publicly talked about it, but it's what we did at AWS for to keep the AWS fleet secure. So it's the thing, and that was back in the Spectrum meltdown days, right? And it's apparently it's solid. What are you looking into? Is it ksplice?
Not really. So basically, they that's why I was saying that the kernel community, the Linux kernel community, finally managed to be in agreement on how things should be done, and everything has been upstreamed in a uniform way right now. So they're not relying on SUSE, they're not relying on I think the one that got closed source IBM. Anyway, and the one from Red Hat now, it's its own thing in the Linux kernel tree, fully with the tooling. So nice. Also the tooling to build such patches.
Yeah. That's really, really cool. I think given that tooling and upstream support is more or less there, I think the larger hurdles will be to flesh out like a good publishing path, and to offer that to consumption for people that opt into that kind of patching. It's something that is very interesting to do for a lot of reasons. So I would really like to learn more about that work. So one thought we had, and it's entirely complementary to what you're describing, but it would need to solve the same delivery problem, is that imagine there are a number of high severity CVEs and user space tools, and we just build a sysex that contains new versions of these tools, right?
Yeah.
And it aligns to a release that was already out. And so we could basically use the same delivery mechanism for that as well. And I think you quoted the motivation correctly. It's in all our heads. The amount of CVEs that are bubbling up right now is amazing, and it doesn't look like it's gonna end soon. So it will have a stance there. So would be cool to have it.
Let's see how this works. Should be easy. I found out that it's not yet easy. Let's see how that works. I'll try to make a POC sometime. Maybe I was thinking to present it at FOSDEM. Let's see how that goes.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have anything else? Yep, Jan.
Just a second reminder for the maintainers. Please do fill out the doodle with time availability when you're available tomorrow. I think by the looks of it so far, we're going to make that session a few hours long. By that, I mean you can join and quit whenever you want, because everyone's availability is so spread out. I'm guessing from maybe 2 to 4 p.m. I can just be there all the time, and you join, we talk, we post the results of your thoughts on the discussion post. European time, sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Yep, great, thank you. And yeah, okay, before we wrap up, I guess, just a reminder on the upcoming dates. The next office hours will be August 12th. So I think we skip a week. And then our developer sync will be on July 22nd. So both are on a Wednesday at 2:30 UTC, as always. Okay, and that's everything for today. If you've got any questions or want to get involved, just find us on Discord, GitHub, Kubernetes, Slack, CNCF Slack. There's plenty of options. We're around. And yeah, thanks for joining, and thanks for everybody for being so vocal and active. And I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.